Final time to Hot Roster today. The matchups revealed. Gary and Thorne, Cam Stewart still with you talking some Hot Roster. We are now talking a couple of the NBA cards tonight, but unfortunately we can't jam every single NBA card available to you during this 5-game slate into one segment. So
we break it down.
What Cam and I are going to do is talk about some individual players who will be featured on these cards. And you know, you're grown-ups. You can make your own decisions past that point. We can only do so much for you here at Hot Roster today. But let's talk about one of the more interesting players so far this season, in probably the most interesting game so far this season in the NBA. We're talking Thunder. We are talking Warriors, which takes place tonight at 10:30 on TNT. Obviously, Klay Thompson is the guy we're talking about. I know, not Russ, not KD, Klay Thompson, who's only averaged 23 Hot Roster points per game so far this season, so that's where we're going to lay the over-under. Does Klay Thompson get over 23? God, that number seems low.
It does seem low. Hey, we want to talk about gross production. Like, this is gross. 10.7% from three-point land? Yikes. 5 points less? You talk about it, Gary, and his performances this year have been abysmal. Actually, one game, the rest of it, his shooting is down, everything's down. But that's the beautiful thing. Now we're getting a nice number of 23 in a big game. I expect him to go off. That number's way too low for me. You know what? Usually we're going to go with the trend. I'm going to buck it tonight. Sign me up. Over Klay. I also like him because he's a Washington State Cougar. Go Pac-12.
We talked yesterday about Blake Griffin and his over-under taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that was on the first half of a back-to-back. So I will say I like this matchup even more now for the opponent of OKC, but you have the two highest-paced teams in the NBA in this matchup. Both teams running over 106 possessions per 48 minutes. There's going to be enough to go around here, and even though Klay is the one who's obviously hurt the most, even dependent to his usage rate so far this season in this whole Kevin Durant as a Golden State Warrior type thing. As you mentioned, 10.7% from three.
Awful.
He's shooting 0% on three-pointers from the corner this year. That's the most analytically inclined spot to take threes. He shot 52% from the corner 2 years ago. He's going to hit 7 threes tonight. Don't worry about it. This number's going way over the number.
Way over.
Let's talk about Kevin Love now, who basically was the Klay Thompson of the Cleveland Cavaliers just 2 years ago. Not so much this year, though. Kind of an interesting situation they've been run out in Cleveland. His over-under is 31 points tonight on Hot Roster against the Boston Celtics. He's second on the Cavs in usage rate, which shouldn't be too surprising, but it's surprising who he's second to. It's Kyrie Irving. Right now, LeBron James is down at 25.7% usage rate, and this is something that maybe we should have seen coming. I mean, Cleveland's a good team. They play in the East. They can kind of experiment. They do whatever they want. They're going to make the playoffs. Do you think LeBron's just taking a backseat to Kevin Love here?
Yeah, I think it's just for a while anyway. You talk about a Gary and Love, 24 points, 23, 19, 18, with a low total of 31. He can actually get over that number. I'd like to see some more assists, but he'll get you some boards. This is going to be a very, very tough one because Hot Roster has this number at 31. I'm projecting 33 or 34. I love Love's minutes up, so I'm going to go slightly over the number.
Yeah, and Boston, a good and stout defensive team, and they do have a deep bench, but also no Al Horford, no Jay Crowder in this game, two of their better defenders.
Huge.
So I think the point total is going to be up here. Give Kevin Love the over. Paul George, over under 33 points on Hot Roster tonight. He's going up against Milwaukee.
I love Paul George over coming off 30.7 boards and assists against the Lakers. Think about Paul George. What did he say, Garen? I want to be the MVP. I want to chuck. He's going to go absolutely bonkers. He will take this team on his back, and I'm looking at a total of 33. Heck, he might get 28 to 30 points tonight. Sign me up, PG. Over the number. I love this one.
And we always talk about it, Cam. What's the thing you want on Hot Roster from players? If it's not points, it's rebounds. And right now, Milwaukee, because they flat out cannot shoot. They can't shoot from the mid-range. They can't shoot from deep two, and they especially can't shoot from three where they're under 30% as a team so far this year. That means when you're missing shots, it's a lot of rebound opportunities for your opponent. Right now, no team in the Eastern Conference gives up more opponent rebounds on average than the Milwaukee Bucks at 49 a game. Paul George coming in at 7 last year, a little over 6 this year. I feel like Paul George is on pace for a double-double tonight.
Yes.
So I'm going to say some points and some rebounds. Obviously, guys, there's a ton of great players on these cards tonight, so go check them out at HotRoster.com. You know, figure some of these out for yourself. It's really fun, especially with the NBA. Cam, it's a great show as always. Thank you once again to Corey Parson of Fantasy Sports Radio Network for stopping by and breaking down the Hot Roster Today card number 2 for Cam Stewart. I'm Gary and Thorne. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.